Hi, everyone. Kevin Ship coming to you again from the Ascent Studios, located deep somewhere in the southeastern United States. Previously not discoverable by Google Earth, apparently mapped out now after the stealth flyovers that lit up the farm 5 times. I guess I should be flattered. And you know that farm equipment, especially the mower, that can be dangerous stuff. I have been intimidated and threatened for over 10 years now. And that's not going to stop me from preaching the truth and exposing government corruption when it happens. I support our government. I'm a patriotic American. I believe in serving our government. And I think we are commanded by our faith, in my case, my faith, to do so. But when the government does wicked things, corrupt things, and violates the Constitution, which is what we serve, constitutional form of government, really the greatest form of government known to man, and based on biblical principles that the founders used amongst their study of governments down through history. So I love this country. I love my government, but it has fallen away from its constitutional design. And that's why I speak out, and that's why I stand up. And as far as taking risks go, goodness gracious, I've been doing that for almost 20 years, so that just comes kind of naturally. Thank you for your patience, everybody. It has been a very difficult year. As you probably remember from previous broadcasts, we really got hit from all sides. My PC was hacked. The hard drive was crashed. Excuse me. But I had Carbonite backup just in case that happened. And Carbonite did not save any of my work. It was gone, lost. Months of work, programs, PowerPoint presentations, videos and other things, just gone. So it took me several months to go back into my old records. I did have a physical hard drive that I backed up a lot of it and a piece and put it all back together again, and got rid of, no offense to Carbonite, but man, it really let us down. So I've gone to a new backup program. Secret Sue and I were both hit at the same time with Epstein-Barr virus. Our immune systems were just shot. I think a normal Epstein-Barr is below 18. Mine was 730. Sue's was 540. It was off the charts. So how that happened, why that happened, I don't know. But we really were out of the loop quite a bit because of that. But guess what? I'm back. We fought through that. In this world, in this life, we're going to have tribulation, especially when we're standing against the powers of darkness. It's going to be a fight. Ultimately, it's not just a cultural war against these unbelievable people, the progressives on the radical left. It is a spiritual war at its root. And having been in Washington and the top floors of the CIA, I've seen that firsthand, that this stuff is just, it comes from, as the Apostle Paul wrote, spiritual wickedness in high places. So we're in a battle. We're in a war, whether we like it or not. And America has slipped down into a deep level of darkness, which we are seeing beyond logic. The people that are pushing these twisted things, transgender teaching to kids in elementary school and high school and college, sexual medical changes for kids when they're not even old enough to know what sexuality is. I mean, I could go on. You all know how bad this has gotten. It is, I couldn't have predicted this 10 years ago that it would be this bad. And it is. I am not a political person, and I'm an independent voter. I voted for Republicans, going back up to Ronald Reagan. The GOP has its own set of issues, but the coming 2022 election is going to be very, very important in stopping this issue. So I would encourage you all, and I know you will. I know my supporters, my followers. I know you will, because you're people of action, people of faith. And I want to thank you for the kind comments that you put at these videos now that I've started posting again, and your prayers. It really means a lot to me to read those and to see those, and it's very uplifting, and it makes what I'm doing worth it. I am talking about now, and I have to be very careful because the YouTube, Google algorithms have already deleted several of my videos. The last video that I did on the biosecurity state, I got into detail. YouTube deleted it and then sent me a warning if I post anything like that again, the whole channel's going down. So I want to keep posting to you all. So I will be talking about the biosecurity state today, and you'll see that I'll be navigating through the AI forest to make sure that this video stays up. And then, of course, if you want the full videos on these things, you can go to my Patreon channel, which I'll show you at the end. Patreon so far has been good and let me publish everything that I put out there. So I also have an account on Subscribestar too, just in case. So what we've seen is a biosecurity state, mandates, lockdowns, surveillance, the control of the populace beyond dealing with COVID-19, which is a dangerous virus. I wasn't supposed to mention that. I hope that doesn't bring me down. But COVID-19 is very, very deadly and very dangerous, and we need to take it seriously. We can't just blow it off and not take it seriously. So in programs on Patreon, I'll get into that in more detail. I hope I don't get banned because of this one. But let me put up a video I made for you all to kind of explain how this happened. How in the world were they able to circumvent the US Constitution and put into place essentially what is a police state, which went all the way up to the World Health Organization, then out to countries like Australia and Germany. Australia just went crazy with this. Welcome. Australia is a wonderful country. Been there several times, worked with their government people. I love Australia and the Australians, but they went full police state. And the template came from the biosecurity state that was rolled out in our country as soon as the pandemic hit. So let me show you guys this, and I will be careful as I can. I want to show you, because I dug and researched through, how did they pull this off? How did they circumvent the Constitution like this and get away with what they did? You can see here, these are all the parties that were involved in the biosecurity state rollout that we saw immediately after the entire pandemic started. These were the organizations that were involved. The Pentagon, DARPA, which is a program that was attempting to build a surveillance system on every American. The CIA, believe it or not, was behind the rollout of this police state. And you know, you guys, every time I think I'm done exposing the CIA and I can go about my off-the-grid farm life, they do something illegal and unconstitutional again. That's what the agency is. It's an unconstitutional organization that gets away with a lot of things. Many times the president is not even aware of, and the intelligence communities don't even touch. Even British MI6 was involved in putting together this police state, along with the agency, NIH, and it all began at Johns Hopkins University. Let me show you what I mean here. There was the Biological Weapons Convention. Do you remember that? 1972, the US signed the convention that countries will no longer develop biological weapons for use in war. And the US was a signatory of that in 1972. However, they got around that. And there's a loophole in the Biological Weapons Convention that allows them to do what they have just done. Now, the Weapons Convention has a loophole that allows the production of biological agents for, I've got that blacked out so I don't get taken down, but let me put it this way, allows for the production of biological agents for vaccine production. And I'll let you figure out what that word is. It rhymes with that. The Biological Weapons Convention allowed the develop and dual use of vaccine and weapons technologies as long as there exists a defensive rationale. Well, we put together this police state and rolled it out, and we have been working on biological agents for defensive purposes. Have they been doing it? Yes, they have. And more on that later. I get into that in detail in Patreon. But I want you guys to see this here. This is the loophole that they found so they could put together and roll out this police state that we're still seeing and have been for 2 years now in the United States and around the world. They were able to develop weapons technologies, biological weapons technologies, using this loophole because they were claiming that it was for vaccine development. That's how they did it. DARPA, Vice President Cheney transferred the power of DARPA to develop biological agents to, guess who? NIH, NIAID, making Dr. Fauci the new biological security czar. That's how this all happened. That's how this all came about. They created a new biowarfare industry, which brought in all the Beltway bandits and all the military industrial complex biological security organizations all together in several war game scenarios where they planned the police state procedures, had them ready for rollout in the event that a pandemic hit, and it hit 3 months after their last war game scenario. They've created a new biowarfare industry, and we have seen some of the outgrowth of that in Ukraine. I have a program I will be doing on Patreon on these biological labs in Ukraine and what they are. They are there. They are sponsored by the United States. And you would be amazed at who they're connected to, AKA Hunter Biden and Seneca Partners and other investment firms. A new biowarfare industry. What most people don't know, in 1997, now I was there then, none of us knew this. I was on the 7th floor with the director of the CIA, and of course we didn't know what they were doing. It's so compartmented that these things are at the highest level of the agency and only known to the deputy directors of agency divisions. For example, the director of operations on those things that most of the agency populace does not know that they're doing. 1997, the CIA had a top secret project called the Doomsday Bacteria Bomblet. They actually were proposing the development of this 1997, well after the Biological Weapons Convention. The agency was proposing this. They just can't stop their criminal behavior. That's what they are. It's who they are. They're an organization founded on lying and deception. So this is how they did it. This is the loophole. It's very important to understand this. And these are all the organizations involved at the top. You can see EcoHealth Alliance was directly involved in the development of the technology that resulted in the vaccine. CI In-Q-Tel was deeply involved. I get into that in great detail and who from the CI was in charge of that. DARPA, of course, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who we now know, along with Mr. Collins, received $300 million secretly for what they were doing regarding the pandemic. And there you can see Robert Kadlec, who was the head of the entire program, the biosecurity rollout program, and of course connected to DOD, DARPA, and the CIA. So this is a loophole, everybody. This is how they did it. Now, I have to be careful. I hope this video stays up. The uncensored part of this program you can find on my Patreon channel, patreon.com/Kevin_Ship. Please come over and support me there. As most of you know, I sacrificed my pension when I came out and blew the whistle on the CIA's poisoning of my family, what they did to my kids, the destruction of all of our property, which began my mission to expose the criminality of what they're doing. My programs are uncensored on Patreon, and please go there and support me. You can start at the lowest tier, but that's how Sue and I keep the lights on. And that's where you get the uncensored information is there. So thanks, everyone. I'm going to keep carefully posting these things and in a way that they will stay up. And I hope this one stays up. We'll keep an eye on it. I really appreciate you guys more than you know. I want to keep posting videos to you. Now that we've got the system back up and running, we both are quite a bit better regarding the health challenges we just went through. And so we're ready to rock and roll. And I'm back and back to my mission of exposing government corruption and protecting our constitutional form of government, which I love. And I appreciate you all more than you know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next program.